How's it going, everyone? This is the George here, and I'm back after taking a break for a month. This time talking about Send Help. That's right, the first 2026 movie that I've seen this year is Sam Raimi's Send Help, starring Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien. And this is Sam Raimi taking on survivor, thriller, horror, combining the three genres and focusing in on this character named Linda that McAdams plays, who is seen as the awkward, nerdy outcast at her office building. And despite working there for quite a while, the new CEO, played by Dylan O'Brien, decides to give this promotion that was promised to her when his father was still alive and in charge to one of his friends that only started working for the company months ago. But when she goes on a trip thinking she can prove herself, the plane crashes and it's just her and the CEO that survive. And now she shows her survival skills, and the dynamic has changed where she is now the superior, stronger of the two on this island, as she has all this experience and survival skills, and he is injured and out of his element. So Sam Raimi, we know, has directed the Spider-Man trilogy of the 2000s. He also directed the Evil Dead trilogy. Evil Dead is where he got his start. He's also directed other excellent movies like A Simple Plan and Drag Me to Hell. And one of the things I find crazy is that since Drag Me to Hell, not including Send Help, for the last 16 years before Send Help came out, he only directed two movies, Oz the Great and Powerful and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Oz came out in 2013. Multiverse of Madness came out 9 years later. So he went almost a decade without directing a movie after Oz the Great and Powerful. I know people will say, well, he was supposed to direct Spider Man 4 for 2011. That got canceled. But that would have been before Oz the Great and Powerful. And what's also crazy is that he hasn't done an original movie since 2009 with Drag Me to Hell. And Sam Raimi is excellent at also doing original movies. The Evil Dead trilogy was excellent. That's his baby. Simple Plan, Drag Me to Hell. And I know he's been doing producing work as well, but this movie is just a reminder that Sam Raimi needs to direct not only more movies, but more original movies because Send Help is definitely one of his better movies, especially in the last several years. I would probably say this is the best Sam Raimi movie since Spider Man 2. And I'm not saying it's as good as Spider Man 2, but it's definitely his best work. This movie feels like a combination of Castaway, Lost, Misery, and some of those Evil Dead themes into one movie. And I'm not saying this movie goes all out Evil Dead. There's like a few horror moments. Most of them are dream vision sequences, though. But you can tell that it's Evil Dead inspired. And obviously, the Castaway Lost influence comes in the fact that a plane crash lands these characters on an island and they're stuck. There's no volleyball that someone's drawing a face on, calling it Wilson, though. The misery aspect is the fact that this guy is injured and this crazy woman is taking care of him, but she's also too crazy. And while she's taking care of him, she's also driving him insane at the same time. Although I think Misery pulled off that aspect better. By the way, go watch the movie Misery if you haven't seen that already. Same thing with Castaway. Go see that movie as well. And watch Lost. That's an excellent show. But back to send help. This movie, the setup of this movie before the plane crash happens and they're on the island, I think works out very well. It establishes just how much the CEO does not respect her, just how awkward she is, how much she wanted that promotion, how devastated she is when she didn't get it. It also shows that she's into Survivor, the show. I don't know if anyone's ever seen the reality show Survivor that's been on for ages. That she has all these wilderness books, survival books. She even has an audition tape for Survivor. That minor spoiler, but the movie's been out for a few weeks. Minor spoiler before the plane crash sequence happens. They're watching her Survivor audition tape and they find it funny because it does come across as embarrassing. But what's funny is that most of those guys died in the crash as well. Now that's funny that people die in a crash, but it's kind of ironic they're making fun of someone for having a bad survivor tape, but they all end up not surviving the crash. Actually, it's ironic. That's what it is. That's the best word to say. But once they get to the island, you really see the dynamic shift. You really see that she's actually really good at surviving, and that this guy that once looked down upon her, that was once in charge of her in the office, actually needs her. Now, another thing that's unique about this movie is that neither one of these characters I would consider to be good people. I mean, you feel bad for Rachel McAdams' character, but at the same time, you see how unhinged and crazy she is. And obviously, if the CEO was actually a nice guy that didn't look down upon her, or if it was a survivor that was nice, that was kind, and they were stuck with this crazy person, you would feel more bad for the other person than her. But the fact that the CEO, boss guy, is terrible, he's a bully, doesn't think highly of her to begin with, it's kind of hard to feel bad for him. There is a really nice sequence in the movie where they're getting along and they're sharing their past. CEO's talking about his strained relationship with his parents. She's talking about her previous marriage where she married this abusive drunk. And I really like that sequence because it just shows that they both had it rough. And those situations morphed them, or at least played a role in morphing them into how they are. I would have liked for them to explore Dylan O'Brien's character and his backstory more. I think that would have been interesting, as they did touch more upon Linda's marriage, per se. But the dynamic, the chemistry that Dylan O'Brien and Rachel McAdams has, it's not obviously romantic chemistry, but it's this rivalry, this banter, this shift in power dynamics where she now feels superior, where it looks like they're getting along, but then one character does something that sets off the other character, and then that character does something even worse. That kind of dynamic, I think, works so well in this movie. And both Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien pull it off so well. They're the two main stars. And if your two main stars pull it off, your movie should go smoothly. The way the island looks is great. The scenarios, the situations that they're in with the weather, wild boars, dangerous rocks, it's pulled off very well. I would probably say it's the ending of the movie that I think might throw some people off. I'm not going to spoil it, even though I did put a few other spoilers into this review, because I feel like you got to watch the movie to experience it and make up your mind. Because I feel like the ending of the movie, you're either going to love it, you're going to be neutral towards it, where you might not think it's the best ending or the best outcome, but you're fine with it. You still enjoyed the rest of the movie. Or the ending, even if you still like the movie, the ending might have held it back for you and you may not have liked the ending. Personally, I'm neutral with it. I think it was bonkers. It felt forced in, like they didn't really know how to end the movie and they thought this was the best ending, because there's a reveal in the movie. That's all I'm going to say. And the reveal, it's new to us. It's new to Dylan O'Brien's character. And I can't help but think to myself, okay, she says something earlier in the movie that does help prevent him from discovering it by saying, don't go past this point. But then I'm thinking to myself, he probably could have found other ways to have made that discovery outside of a couple of things. There were no other hints that this thing was going to happen. and the other things still would have made sense if this reveal didn't happen. I think the reveal in the third act is going to throw off some viewers. I think it might have already done so, but I also know it's not going to ruin the movie for a lot of people. Might just it might not just be as fulfilling of an ending as you may have wanted it to be, but the rest of the stuff leading up to it is still bonkers good. There are some graphic scenes in this movie, some bloody scenes in this movie. It's a Sam Raimi R-rated movie. If you've seen his Evil Dead movies, you know he doesn't hold back. He didn't hold back in this movie. This is classic Sam Raimi with survival thriller in it. And I'm glad he casted Rachel McAdams. He apparently enjoyed working with her so much in Multiverse of Madness and felt like he could have utilized her more in that movie and wanted to work with her again. I want Sam Raimi to make more movies again overall. I know there's rumors that Spider-Man 4 could be a thing, could not be a thing with him and Tobey Maguire. There's rumors that he could do Doctor Strange 3 down the road or some other Marvel movie. Whether it's a comic book movie or just an original movie where he's creating his own thing, just make more movies, Sam Raimi. I'm still in shock that you went almost a decade without directing a movie. But yeah, overall with Send Help, this is probably one of the best early of the year movies to come out in recent memory. Usually January and most of the time February, it's just a slow first couple months. This is a January movie though, because February does have some good stuff at times. I just saw it in February, but yeah, usually January movies most of the time are forgettable. But Send Help, definitely one of Sam Raimi's better movies. As I said earlier in the video, his best movie since Spider-Man 2. I want to see him make more new stuff. Even if he's doing franchise stuff, I just want to see him direct again. But yeah, overall, Send Help. I'm gonna give this movie a B plus. I highly recommend you check it out. And I think, with the exception of the ending being up for debate, how you feel about it, I think he nailed every other aspect pretty well. I just maybe would have liked to have had more exploration of backstory for certain characters. Well, mainly the CEO, because it's really just the CEO and Linda in this movie that are the main characters. Everyone else is basically thrown out. But overall, I highly recommend you check Send Help out. Go see it in theaters. We gotta support movies like this, low budget movies that do the best that they can with what they can work with and still make a solid movie. Gotta support Sam Raimi movies, not just the superhero franchise stuff. Support all his movies. And what are your thoughts on Send Help? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? And what's one of your favorite Sam Raimi movies that isn't a Spider-Man movie or Evil Dead movie? For me, I would say his favorite non-franchise movie is probably A Simple Plan. I think that's a very good movie that he directed. But what are your thoughts? What's your favorite non-franchise Sam Raimi movie? Let me know in the comments down below. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe already. If you haven't, please share this with someone that likes Sam Raimi movies, that likes survival thriller movies. And I hope to see you guys real soon. Take care, everyone.